Okay, we are almost completely finished with day, I think, 7 of my Tribeca interviews. Even though the festival is finished, I'm so excited that I still get to talk to various directors, actors, etc. Today, I am joined by Anouk Meissner. She is the individual who created this beautiful piece called Nobody Owns Me. So first off, thank you so much for joining me today. I have many questions about this film, but I want to start off a little bit talking about you. You are from France, yes?
Yeah, totally.
I can tell by the just the cute little accent you have there. I like to check in with my guests first and foremost because we've all been living the same sad reality for the last 2.5 years now with the pandemic and all the things that have gone on. So in your country, how are things now? And moreover, how did you handle this last 2.5 years of all this sadness and sorrow and just tragedy?
For me, it was, I think I'm also quite apart from how French people did lived it, because when it began, I was on travel in Asia.
Okay.
I had this thing that I was traveling since 3 months. And so for me, when I just began to realize that in Italy, there was a lockdown and that they couldn't go out on the street, I thought it was a joke. And I thought it wasn't real because, of course, when you're traveling, you're not so much in your phone, and you're really on trying to understand the local politic and how the language and all of this. So you really concentrate in the country where you are. And so when I began to understand what was happening outside, I was just thinking, is this a joke? Because of course I couldn't imagine that Italy would
Right.
be. So yeah, there was something where I was always kind of outstanding, of what was really happening.
Okay. Almost like a movie, like you're imagining something happening, but not really being reality.
Yeah, and it was always seeing things and, oh, okay, now it's like this. So how should I do? And then, every travelers that I met in Asia on that time, we really began to understand what was happening when they began to lock down every frontier. There was something where we had now to see how it was going worldwide, not just in the country where we were. So yeah, and after I went back, but I never stopped traveling, because when I went back to France, so France was locked down since 2 weeks. And so I went to make the kind of quarantine, when you come back, and I make it by people that I met in Thailand. And so we were in the campaign, and so on the middle of the field. So I didn't have the feeling that that I had a lockdown,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah, I stayed there 14 days, and then I went to my mother's home, which was in the Alps. So I was also traveling, and I never had the feeling to be blocked. So I think I don't have the same feeling about COVID and Corona, also because in the campaign, people wasn't that much afraid than in the city.
Okay. Now, had this affected your work? Meaning, were you able to keep writing or creating, or was this kind of everything was at a standstill for you, work-wise?
Well, for me, it didn't affect me because I was in internship. So because I'm also working into sound on shooting, so I was still doing internship for sound, and so I had no problem to find them. And after that, for Nobody Owns Me, there was this kind of couvre-feu, you couldn't go out after 20 p.m. or
like a curfew.
PM. Yeah, curfew. And so yeah, we were just doing it still, and because we didn't have so much time to do the movie, so we were just okay, we have to do it, and if we meet someone, then well, we will explain and we will see, and it goes, or it goes not. Well, but we never met anyone that stopped us, so yeah.
I gotcha. Now, you said you did an internship. Not everybody who does films, does an internship or has opportunity to do an internship. Would you recommend that people do that when they're learning the craft, like in filmmaking, whether it's sound, lighting, directing? Is an internship helpful?
I think I could still direct without it, but the fact to do internship in different work in cinema give you the open eyes. You know, it makes you understand more the job of the people that will work with you, and so
Sure.
be more human with them, like understand more and know more how to help them also, you know, not just because, yeah, I saw on many shooting like some directors that think that everyone should do but sometimes they ask something too difficult to do on the time or something, you know. So
Mhm.
I think by knowing the job of people, you can know what you can ask and how you can ask it, and how you can manage to work also to have it.
If I asked you what you feel is the most challenging and the most benefit, or not beneficial, but let's say what's the positive on the positive side as far as directing? Tell me why you enjoy doing that so much, and then tell me what you find to be the most complicated part of being a director in film.
Why I enjoy it? I think I enjoy to write and to tell stories. Like I have always been telling stories and writing, and so there's something that is really, I think, in me of wanting to tell story. When you see something and you want to, I don't know, to somehow tell the stories that you can see. So
Mhm.
yeah. And the most difficult, I think, is to be like to not disappoint the people that is working with you, that to make them love your project too, that
Mhm.
they feel that it's not just your project, but also their project.
Okay.
And because this is, I think, when they feel that it's also their project, they are more wanting to do it, you know. So I'm always trying to bring them to like the project, to understand it.
Okay.
And also, yeah, I think to also sometimes you have some doubt because, yeah, sometimes things are not happening the way you are expecting them, or and so you have to stay like strong and to not show so much you doubt in order that your team is continuing to believing in everything. And so even if you are really much doubting, you have to be sure and to show something that you are sure about what you're doing.
Mhm. Like, for instance, your movie, you are the centerpiece of your movie primarily is one woman. So when you had been looking at Ilana, I was curious to ask, like you're talking about, you want to get them invested or excited about the project or want them to be part of it. Did you have a hard time convincing her to do this project on film? Because it's a very personal story.
We know each other since 5 years.
Oh,
And yeah, so it was actually, I didn't wait for her answer. Yeah, because I had like first, after I had 2 more months, but first we had like 1 month and a half to do the whole movie.
okay.
And so I have to be very quick. So I have to prepare my movie in 1 week. And the week that we had to shoot if Irina was accepting it.
Hmm.
And so I just let her a message on Facebook like, hey, there was this competition for this TV channel in France on the team nobody like need of no one, and need of
Hmm.
no one in France is also the need of someone. So it's like double sense. And so I didn't wait her answer to call like some friends, like the Nicolas Montaigne, for example. He's a composer. Emily, who is a sound mixer. And I called them because I knew they had to do the movie. And I was like, hey, hello, do you want to do this movie? I don't know if she accepts, but if she accepts, we shoot next week. And it was like this, and they said yes. And I found also Leah, who was the editor, and my other friend Emma, and everything in this week and the week after we were shooting.
Oh, wow. That's very, very quick. I mean,
Yeah.
literally most productions, you start in pre-production and it takes a long time to get everything set up. Plus you weren't in just one location. I mean, it seemed like you were where she was primarily living at that point in time. But yeah, I mean, she's a fascinating subject. So before we get into her, I know that you have your education at ARFIS. Talk to me a bit about, educationally speaking, when you go to school for film or you go to school for any element of this industry. There are some people that swear that they can film a movie and make a good production and not learn anything scholastically. Don't go to school, just dive right into it. Then there are people like yourself, of course, that are getting educated and things like that. What would you say to a new filmmaker? Would you recommend both? Or would you say, give it a try, step onto a set and just give it a whirl?
Well, I think it depends on the school where you're going to. It would be my school. I have always been thinking that it wouldn't have changed so much if I wouldn't have done this school.
Okay.
Like, because I couldn't just take the material and just make some tests on weekends or on vacation, which other school allow you to take some camera or sound and make the test you want to do. And so to be creative. My school didn't allow me to do that. So yeah, it's not there that I could test what I wanted to test. So the advice I would give is just go what you will make by testing a movie, I think.
Wow. Well, and when you go to film school, in the States at least, a lot of filmmakers, they don't get taught things like marketing or how to sell a movie or how to promote a movie. Is that something that they taught you or are teaching you when you got educated about doing this?
Yeah, that told a little about it, but not so much. So
Okay.
yeah, I was lucky because so we did this competition for Arte TV channel, and
Yep.
we become like second prize.
Yes,
So
I saw.
they buy the movie. So there was already something that was putting the movie on a specific level because we didn't had any production and producer.
Sure.
So yeah, and after I think it's a lot about talking with people and yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Now that second prize winner, is the general public able to see that production?
Anyone I think in Europe. I
Oh,
think
okay, so not here, just
yeah,
there.
yeah.
I got it. So it's not available to us. Okay, gotcha.
Just with some like if you use a VPN.
Ah, okay, I get it. Now, you did Nobody Owns Me, and of course, I found out about you through Tribeca. So of course, you screened at one of the big three film festivals. So I know that the film was done in 2021, and so obviously here we are now in mid 2022 already. What was the reason, the primary reason you submitted to Tribeca? Because that's a pretty big festival, a lot of well-known names, a lot of competition, and you're a little newer. So was that intimidating for you at all?
No, I think well, I just try to submit it to some festival and I just see if they or not. But I'm not putting myself into a fear before it happened, you know?
Oh,
It just
right.
I will just see if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. And also there is lots of great films that are coming. So sometimes you can't just take all the films that are coming. So if they don't accept it, it's not necessarily that they don't like it. So yeah, I'm quite okay.
I gotcha. So apparently they liked it because they said we're going to go ahead and screen it, which is very exciting. I didn't get to ask you, did you travel to New York or did you not attend the festival?
No, I wasn't there. I
Okay, I
was
gotcha. I got it. And so it's an 11-minute film, and most people I think that don't work in film assume that when you say I did an 11-minute film, that it took you a very short period of time and that it all got packaged up nicely. Were there any hangups or what was the hardest part about filming this project for you?
I think it was by the editing because we have shoot in 6 half of days, and from this half day we have used just 3 of them
Okay.
because one of them was in another house and it wasn't passing after to the film. One
Okay.
of them we had a technical problem, and one of them is used for the tattoo. So we have like two screenshots from the tattoo, but it's all. So, and in the other days, so we didn't have that much image. So it was really hard on one point to make the film. First, I had like kind of two films in one because I was including how Irina was saying lots of touching moments. And so I really wanted this touching moment, but it was nothing, you know? So it was something that wasn't a good line. And so at one point I was still thinking it's okay, and I was showing it to some people and people were liking it. So I was like, okay, they don't see it. And I had finally a friend that called me, and she was totally putting the point on what I didn't want it to see, what I was doing, but thinking it's okay. And so then I was just hanging the phone and calling Leah and to her like, Leah, I know we don't have that much time, but let's take 1 week where we do nothing and we just change what we know we have to change, and we will find a way how to, to make the story. And so that's what we did. And after we worked and we just cut, like we took 3 seconds there and then let a small piece of white, you know, like of 2 seconds, and take the other seconds in order to make something and to have enough image. But yeah, it was very hard, and you had like to make a huge puzzle with your brain. Like it was really,
Now, I did see, I don't want to give away too much of the film for people that haven't seen it. But in the very beginning, you have a scene. And so I'd like to ask about this because it's pretty clear that she's half naked. I'm assuming that's her. And that's a very bold thing for an individual to do. I mean, to literally give you consent to show them the most vulnerable side of themselves. I'm guessing she had no apprehension about the nudity factor, or it wasn't upsetting to her, etc. And moreover, were either of you worried about audience reaction?
No, like the tattoo artist, he was asking me if I wanted to put something on
her chest?
On her chest,
Okay.
like, you know, some point or something,
right.
Because I was afraid of some shirt. And I was just thinking, well, we wouldn't do that for a man, so why would we do that for a woman, you know?
Sure.
And so it was okay for Irina, so it was okay for me, and we are both thinking that women could have the same rights than men, you know? It's not shocking, it's just your body, and if it shocks someone, then we don't care.
I gotcha. Okay. Now, during your film, you covered different things: poverty, homelessness, clearly struggling with an identity, her identity in particular, and the others that are there, squatting. Obviously, I think prostitution as well was part of this picture. That's a lot. That's a lot of heavy stuff in a short amount of time. When I watched it, one of the things I thought was, she is, even from start to finish, not much different. Do you know what I mean? She still seems very broken, very vulnerable, very afraid, and somewhat hopeless. Was that your intention? Meaning, usually it comes full circle and it gets better, you know, but that end shot is really, it's almost heart-wrenching.
I had told to my team like that I didn't want it to show the difference, but where we are not, the not difference, you know, of people. Sure. I don't know the English name, but
I get what you mean, though.
Yeah, and so, and through that to show, because we are all different, you know, but we have something that links us all. So I was really focused on every link that we had, because also with homeless, or when you have prostitution or drug addiction, there is a fear that can come from people. Like when I began to go in the street to meet people from the street, I had teachers that were telling to me like, hey, Anouk, don't do that, be careful, they're dangerous people. And so I was just asking, are you knowing these people that you are categorizing and putting in the same bag, in this bag?
Right.
And so they were always saying no. But it was this idea that comes from cliche, from some newspaper, from some films. And so I wanted to show, so nobody owns me, the people that I had met. And also to invite the people who are afraid to meet this world, to meet it,
Sure. All right.
to be afraid. So yeah, that was what I
Now,
wanted.
your title obviously means nobody owns me, and there's a lot of context or reference you could put into that. It's very clear that she owns herself, her flaws, her positives. It's enlightening to see her embrace the writing side or embracing the relationship side. These little peaks of sunshine are coming in amongst the storms, if you will. So I'm curious to ask, were there moments where there were emotional breakdowns where people had to stop filming, meaning was the subject matter intense for her too?
Yeah, I think it was very intense for her. But I don't film that much. Like I like to talk a lot. So there was lots of more moments of talking than filming. That's
Oh, okay.
maybe also why we didn't had so much image. Because yeah, I like to film, but I really like to have this moment where you can chill, where you can just talk, where your team can also talk, and not have this kind of pressure that you can sometimes have on some filmmaking,
Sure. Oh, that.
So yeah, there wasn't this breakdown and this moment of not filming because everyone knew that we could stop whenever we wanted.
I did notice, of course, and you referenced this in the film, of course, that I'm guessing, because I can't remember, she in squatting, which is living in a community together, it looked like they had been to two different locations. Was that correct, or was it all within one domicile?
It was just in one
One
place,
location? Okay.
and there was just the piano that was in the other house, but the
Okay, got
rest
it.
was in the same house. Yeah.
I gotcha. Okay. And now, of course, it doesn't focus specifically on just Irina and her significant other. There are other people surrounding her, of course, other people that you see on camera. Were there any inhibitions or apprehensions on their part about being part of this? Because it really is her story, if you will, but you are spotlighting others as well. So were they willing, or was there any sort of hesitancy there?
There were the people that you can see were willing to.
Uh-huh.
Like, it was okay. I was a bit afraid before to come because I didn't have the time, of course, to come before to film.
Right.
So there was this thing of you arrived with the camera, someone that takes the sound, and so they wasn't knowing us. So there was something where you are entering into their world with the camera, and they have to be natural.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, if we would yeah, there was a kind of danger of being filmed, when you're in a squat,
Oh,
because
sure.
people don't have to see where you are living, because if they know, they could put you, like the police could put you out of the house. So
Right.
there was all this trust that you can have, get from them. And for some people, they couldn't be filmed because the police are searching for them because they are, because of politics, of
Right.
this. And so always I was putting some kind of white, I don't know the name, something on their face,
Oh, like a
in
covering or a disguise or something?
not a covering. It was just so that I knew that some sticker, kind of
Oh,
sticker. Yeah.
okay. I get it.
And so that I could know by the editing, that the editor, when I wasn't with her, could know that this person, we have to cut it away from the editing.
Sure. Okay, I get that. Okay. Um,
We were very happy to do it, I think. And also happy that someone was interesting in their voice, in what they are, and also in telling this voice that no one sees.
right. Well, that's just it. I feel like oftentimes filmmakers like yourself are allowing people their voice is heard, their faces are seen, their causes are brought to light. And more and more and more that gets done, the more help that people can get, of course. I think that we all as humans ask ourselves, like in your case, were you legitimately ever afraid? Meaning, sometimes you come across people when you're doing these projects that don't have your best interest at heart. So was there a danger element for you as the director?
For me, it was okay, but I knew very quickly that I had some responsibility, a huge responsibility, because by entering into their world, I was becoming part of the family. So you're not just a filmmaker.
What did you learn from Irina?
Well, I'm always learning from Irina, like since 5 years. Like we love to talk together. She's a very, very interesting person who is a very artistic person. So she always has lots of ideas. So we are always like kind of working together. It's not the first time that we wanted to do something together.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think, yeah, I'm learning on so many things all the time because she's inspiring.
Why? Oh, definitely. And since you did this film last year, can you tell us how is she now? Meaning, what are her circumstances now, or where has she ended up now, or what happened? What happened to our main character?
So now she's living in an apartment of a friend of for some months or some, I don't know how long time she would stay, but for now she's there since some months.
Okay.
With Marty and with her dog.
Okay. This is good. So they're all still together and they're in a different place, which is good to hear. And I just got the good fortune to speak to her just yesterday for the very first time. Very humble, very sweet. I actually own a magazine, and I said, I'd like to read your writings and I'd like to publish them. I think it's so important to keep embracing the art within someone, even when you're completely distraught or destroyed inside. You can make such beautiful things to share outside, like this film, for instance. Do you know where you are screening the film next? Is it in another festival, or?
I don't know. I'm waiting some answer from some festivals.
Oh, okay.
For now, I don't know. I know it's still, on the channel in France.
Yes, I know that.
And yeah, there was also a cinema where they want to show it. I have to wait at the moment I will have the full right of my film again. So I think in 1 year.
Okay. Oh yeah,
and
that's right.
Yeah, because now there's a kind of exclusivity with the I can for festival, but I can't just show it somewhere else. So I need to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you? Go ahead.
About what you were telling me before with Irina, she already showed me what she was like a book with lots of pages, and she was like, "Oh, I have so much to say. Now I have to put it together." So yeah.
Oh, how sweet. Oh. Now, are you working on another film now, or are you waiting till this is all finished, or where are you at now?
Yeah, I'm working on a feature film.
Okay.
That I would like to begin like around September or October, and to finish in summer.
Okay.
And it would be around a friendship between two women. It's also a documentary, and who are going on a travel together in order to reconstruct themselves because they had been both abused, sexual and violent. And so it's this one thing of healing, and also the travel will be healing them on a way. So it's this film that I'm working on.
Nice. Okay. So you have something working there. I want to say to everybody, if they want to find this pretty lady right here, I'll spell her name out because most people may not know this. Anouk is Anouk. The last name is Meissner, Meissner, and she can be found IMDb, on LinkedIn, and of course she has an Instagram account with her name, Anouk Meissner. Anywhere else that people can find you?
no, I don't have any website or.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure of that. That sounds good. I gotcha. We covered
Thank you.
everything then. That's awesome. Anouk, thank you so much for doing this. I cannot thank you enough for spending some time with me and sharing this beautiful project. It really was a labor of love. It's obvious. It's just beautiful. So thank you.
Thank you to you. Like, it was very nice to have this interview with you.